50, 45. There goes Davis. Oh, my God. Davis is going to run it all the way back. Auburn's going to win the football game. Auburn's going to win the football game. He ran the missed field goal back. He ran it back 109 yards. They're not going to keep him off the field tonight. Holy cow. Oh, my God. Auburn wins. Auburn has won the Iron Bowl. Auburn has won the Iron Bowl in the most unbelievable fashion you will ever see.
Oh, welcome on in, everyone, to a brand new edition of the Dream Wager, episode 425. We are presented by Viva Tequila Seltzer. A little more on them on the back end, but a little later in the day, kid. I know we usually get it out Monday morning, but you and I were away on a bachelor party. Great weekend overall with you and all the boys. But how you doing here on a Monday night?
I'm not gonna lie to the people. I'm a little tired. You know, it was a long weekend.
Not much sleep.
Yeah, shout out my boy Christian, man. Great weekend, great bachelor party. Can't wait for the wedding. But overall, just a little tired, boys. So bear with me. But other than that, Dale, let's get into it.
Yeah, got a lot to discuss. We got some signings. I mean, I'm telling you, they're listening to us because as soon as we bring something up, I feel like a few hours after it happens, man. But we got some signings in the quarterback position we'll discuss. Talk about game one, USA win over Serbia. We continue our two-a-days. We tackle the AFC North, probably the best division in football. We'll talk about the Ravens, which I think I'm a little higher on than Elvis. And we'll talk about the Bengals, which I think he might be a little higher on than me. So we'll discuss that. 15-game slate on a Tuesday. I like the board. So we'll see how that goes. And then Wednesday, South Sudan, Lou Dang's team taking on United States on Wednesday night. So we'll have plays there for you over there. But we'll start with your Patriots, actually. Safety and Jersey's own Jabril Peppers, 3-year extension, base value of $24 million, worth up to $30 million now. You know, if you don't like him or if you don't like him, if you're from around here, you got to respect his game. He was one of the best defensive players in 2013, especially for your New England Patriot defense, top 10 defense in the league. And they continue to re-sign and retain their own talent. We know Christian Barmore, we'll talk about his unfortunate absence. Ramondre Stevenson, they re-signed. Kyle Duggar, the safety. Kendrick Bourne, the wide receiver. Alphron Jennings, the linebacker. So they continue to re-sign homegrown talent. Are you surprised, and do you like this move?
To be honest, I like it. I like it a lot, Dale. Just because, like, don't get me wrong, Jabril Pepper, it's not like he's a pro boarder, nothing like that, but he's a pretty good safety, and he could also bring him down. He could play the linebacker position as well, so he could play multiple positions on the defensive side. And I guarantee, if we need him to, he can still return a kick or two if needed. So for basically $8 million a year with incentives, I hope he hit those incentives and we pay the man 30. Honestly, I think it's a win-win for both sides. You know, we get a solid safety / linebacker when needed, and the Jabril Peppers gets what he deserves, and that's a nice contract. So to be honest, I love the moves we've been making this whole offseason. Like you said, we're keeping the talents we're developing. We're not just gonna let them go somewhere else and get a bag. We're actually taking care of the players. So I think our defense, that was our stronghold last season, and I'm glad that we're not just letting talent get away. We're re-signing that. So let's just build on our defense and let's see what the young boy could do on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah, most of them are on the defensive side of the ball, guys re-signing. And also you mentioned a good point, special teams as well. He returns punts, returns kicks. Like, this guy is a multi-threat with Jabril Peppers. So, and they're getting him to relatively cheap. And even if he gets the incentives up to $30 million, I think it is on the cheaper side of things. So I love the move. Happy for Jabril as well. But yeah, I mentioned Chris Barmore. He had the 4 years, $84 million. I mean, he was the best player on your defense last year besides Matthew Judon. But unfortunately, he was diagnosed this weekend with blood clots. There's currently no timetable for his return. Awful news for just a good guy who, deservingly so, got a contract extension this season, stayed in a really good organization. But you hate to see it for a relatively young defensive player like this.
Yeah, man. You know, to me, he's honestly, no bias aside, he's becoming one of the best defensive tackles in the game, surely. And to me, he got the money he deserves. And it's just unfortunate. Hopefully, things clear up for him. By all means, I'm not trying to rush him back. But I say he'll be back maybe in 2 months or so. Dale, let's clear it up things. Let's get his body right. And I think he's still young enough with the doctors and technology we have today. I think he'll be back on the field maybe come October. So hopefully the blood clocks. Everything works out good. No rush for him to get back on the field, but it is unfortunate that this happened. So
Yeah,
it sucks, but I have a feeling he'll be back, and trust me, he's gonna be an anchor on that line.
definitely have to stay positive, especially when getting news like this. And I would just say, I know it's another sport, but you look at a guy like Chris Bosh, who had all the talent in the world, just like Chris Barmore, and kind of halts your career and kind of plateaus it, unfortunately. So you don't want to see that. Hopefully he can make a return because, like you said, with him on your defense, I mean, no one's really running up the A or B gap anytime soon. So yeah, we do wish Christian Barmore a very speedy recovery. We'll stay in the AFC East. The Dolphins, Tua. I said it last pod. I said, you know what? I'm going to defend Tua every chance I get. And then it was only an hour, 2 hours after we went live. They listened. They said, you know what? D-Rock is right. We have to pay him. I mean, the guy's a top 5 quarterback when healthy. 4 years, $214.4 million extension. It includes $167 million guaranteed. And we'll talk about the guy in a minute. But up until that point, he was the highest paid quarterback per year.
Yeah, we spoke it. Tua deserves for the money he's been. I mean, the money. The numbers he's been putting up, especially these last 2 seasons. I understand before Mike Daniels, he had a couple injuries. I'm not gonna count those couple first 2 seasons with Adam Gates as the head coach. Still, we've seen Tua take a monster step. So Tua's been in the MVP conversation last year for sure, in a little bit even 2 seasons ago, Dill. And we just gotta appreciate how Tua's getting better and better each year. So to me, he deserves this money. Shout out Tua. I'm gonna say it one time. Shout out King Tua.
Yeah.
I'm gonna disagree saying he's a top 5 quarterback when healthy, but we can't deny how special Tua is when he's up and right. So I can't blame Miami, and I'm not mad at Tua either. To me, he should have set the market once again. To me, my only thing I'm questioning is why he wasn't a 5-year deal. I understand he might want to get right back on the market, but if I'm Miami, I want to secure Tua for as long as possible. So I would have tried to get a 5-year deal. But hey, if I'm Miami, I want to keep Tua and Mike McDaniels together for as long as possible.
All fair, and I'll say this, I guess. Top 5, meaning he has all the tools and weapons around him to become a top 5 quarterback.
Last year, bro, he was up there, bro. I put it this: if Tua got some MVP votes, I'm not gonna disagree with it. He had an amazing regular season, in my opinion. My only, disagreement downfall with Tua is that doesn't lead to anything come playoff time. We saw great season. Come playoff time, kid averages less than 10 points a game. Like, that's my only thing. Tua is great. Don't get me wrong. I just need to see it come playoff time.
And that's all fair criticism. He has yet to win a playoff game, regardless of it being very cold. I'm on your side, Tua. I'll say that. But I agree. You should get your money, and hopefully he can win a playoff game this year. And, keep making that. Yeah, keep making that step forward because, like you said, all the talent is there. And I think he has really learned not to get as injured as previous years. But, I mentioned him, and I think the whole debate, how it started between Elvis and I think just around the sports realm was him or Jordan Love coming in the same year. Jordan Love played half a good a season, but still put up better numbers, still went farther than Tua, but Tua's kind of done it longer. But here comes Jordan Love, 4 years, another 4-year contract, $220 million. Now that makes him the highest paid NFL quarterback in NFL history. Gets a record-breaking $75 million at signing bonus. I mean, I can't even imagine what that was when the next morning it hit. He has $155 million in guarantees. Green Bay and Jordan Love are contractually tied together throughout the 2028 season, and then he becomes a free agent again at the age of 30. He could get another contract. And here is Dak Prescott. He's sick back and he waits, and he's gonna take the next shot. He's gonna make more than that. So right now, you got Jordan Love, $55 million, Trevor Lawrence, $55 million, Joe Burrow, $55 million, Tua 53.1, Jared Goff, 53, Justin Herbert 52.5, Lamar 52, and Jalen Hurts at 51. I mean, Dak Prescott's going to get 56. I mean,
he should get at least 52. 52. You know, he should at least get 52.
He has to start at what Lamar and Justin Herbert is. What is that 52?
Let's get into Jordan Love first. You know, and, this might shock you what I'm about to say. Jordan Love, I don't think he deserves to be the highest paid quarterback of all time. Do I think Jordan Love is better than Tua? In my opinion, yes. But I feel like Tua deserved his contract. I feel like Jordan Love, don't get me wrong, he deserves to get at least, what the quarterback market is. But to give this man the richest quarterback contract in NFL history, to me, that's a little too much. And I'm a bigger fan than you are. And I'm even saying to make him the highest paid player in NFL history of all time, I don't know if I would have done that. But this is another guy. To me, he deserves this contract. To me, he's a little too much. I don't know if he deserves to be the highest paid player of all time, but Green Bay had to pay this man. Just because, once again, I'm going to ask this question for anybody listening. Could y'all name me the Green Bay backup quarterback? I can't. I don't know who it is, and God bless that man. But we all know if the Green Bay Packers wants a chance for the division, be a successful team, possibly the conference, possibly even a Super Bowl run in the next couple seasons, they won't be able to do that without Jordan Love. So, to me, they had to get this deal done. And shout out Jordan Love for holding out and forcing their hand to get this deal done. So, to me, he deserves the money. Shout out Green Bay for paying him. And let's see what he comes. But one backlash I will say is I don't think he deserves to be the highest paid player of all time. But, hey, maybe in a year or two from now, maybe even by week 10, we going to be like, shit, Packers got a deal.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah, I think we said the same thing about maybe Jalen Brunson. I know it's a different sport, but everyone's like, oh, it's too much for a guy like that. It's only showing you one kind of glimpse. And then everyone's like, no, you got a bargain. and we might say the same thing for Jordan Love. And that was my argument with you maybe two episodes ago last week. Yes, he deserves to get paid. I think Jordan Love is fantastic. He's the top 5 quarterback. Yeah. Yes, both of them are. Yes, absolutely.
You got to stop saying top 5. You just said
Jordan Love. No, Jordan Love top 5 in the NFC. I was going to say in the NFC.
Okay.
Word. But I was just saying I don't think he deserves to getting paid $220 million off of one good year, and I'll stop saying the half a year, the full year. That's ballsy. That's crazy to me.
I agree on that part there, but one thing, numbers don't lie. The last 9 games of the season, Jordan Love, statistically, people, was the best quarterback in the NFL. We can't deny the numbers still. The kid put up amazing numbers in his first career starting. I understand he was a backup for 2 years. He learned under Aaron Rodgers. But when the man was put in the position, I'm not disagreeing with that, though.
Yeah.
All we got to go by is, I understand it's just one season. Fuck that. Could we at least admire or see what he's done in that one season? 4,200 passing yards, 32 touchdowns. I think, only 12 interceptions. That's all time, people.
Can we imagine if Christian Watson didn't drop some of those early balls in the beginning of the season?
He would have went for 46. Over 4,500, probably 35 touchdowns. Like, people, I understand you don't want to, I'm not saying you, but in general, the media, they're going to criticize him for only playing for a year. But we can't deny that 1 year was a great season. It was better than most seasons from all-time quarterbacks. So I understand, yes, he doesn't have the 30, 40 game resume Tua has, but we can't deny that Jordan Love's numbers last season in that 9-game stretch, the kid was flat out special. He was flat out special. And we can honestly say he has the potential to be something very special.
Yeah, 100%. No, I agree with everything you said. I think they're all fair points.
And one last thing.
Yeah.
Let's get this guy a true number 1 wide receiver. And,
Christian Watson, you don't believe in him?
No. When the last time you saw Christian Watson play 12-plus games? No disrespect to Christian Watson. We just need him on the field a little more. That's all. Let's see Jordan Love get like a T. Higgins. Let's see if we get him Brandon Ayuk. Get him a true number 1. Get him a CD Lamb. And let's see what numbers he put up. He put 4,200 yards, 32 touchdowns with Christian Watson, Romeo Dobbs, and a few other pieces. Still, let's get him some household names and let's see the numbers he put up. Trust me, it'll be special.
Yeah, I was gonna see. He also he loves the tight ends as well. Yeah, but Romeo Dobbs, I love Romeo Dobbs. I
No,
think
he's
he's
nice.
actually
He's crazy.
really
He's
good.
Nice. Yeah.
He fits that system too. You
No,
know what
no,
I mean?
He's the wide receiver group. Let's not forget, people. This is one of the youngest wide receiver groups in the NFL. I think the most experience on the receiver is 3 years, which might be Watson
Which
and
is
Dobbs.
him.
Yeah. So this is the youngest wide receiver core in all of football. Give them more time. They're gonna be better. Christian Watson, if he plays 15 plus games, guess what? He's gonna put up some numbers. We saw the kicker.
Luke Musgrave, the tight end.
The tight end. He's nice. And now you got Josh Jacobs, right?
Yeah, their run game is gonna be better this year. I'll admit that. Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I love Aaron Jones. To me, he's phenomenal. But Aaron Jones. Josh Jacobs behind with LaFleur calling the plays behind the offensive line. Bro, he might even put up better numbers than he did in Oakland. So,
yeah, very young. I'm looking at their roster right now.
They're nice. I'm telling you.
Just they're young. They're young
and they're nice. That's the thing. They haven't reached their full potential. Imagine them in 2 years from now when they're all vets, when they're all 25. Let's not forget, people. Jordan Love is what, 24, 25?
Something like that, yeah.
He's young. Romeo Dobbs young. These all on rookie deals.
We'll see if they pan out.
All the veterans are on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah. We'll see if they pan out. I'm interested to see break their team
You're
down.
starting to like them though. I hear it in your voice.
No, I respect Green Bay. I always think they're a good team. They're hard out. They're well coached. I like offensively I think they exceeded a lot of expectation.
You came around LaFleur because when Aaron Rodgers.
I just like to make fun of his name, but I do think he's a really good coach.
Yeah, to me, he's a great offensive play caller.
Yeah, honestly. I think he gets predictable at times, and I think on some primetime games, he goes away from what they do well sometimes. But overall, I do think he's a good coach. Aaron Rodgers wouldn't have won 2 MVPs without the help of LaFleur. So I do like him. And yeah, we can't keep disrespecting the backup Sean Clifford from Penn State. That just can't happen on my clock anymore. Sean Clifford. But yeah, no, looking forward now, Dak Prescott, he's sitting there like, keep getting it. Like, I think he doesn't even care at this point because he's just going to reset the market.
Yeah, in my opinion, I think Jerry Jones fumbled once again.
100%.
People, 3 years ago, Jerry Jones said in the presser, "You took me to the cleaners." Like,
yeah.
He was forced to pay Dak Prescott anything he wanted. And once again, instead of getting a deal done early after, understand, last thing Jerry Jones remembers from the 2023 season is a blown out against Green Bay at home. Let's not forget, people, they did lose. They were down 27-0 at half, the Dallas Cowboys. So I understand from Jerry's point of view, that's the last thing on his mind, what happened in Dallas against the Green Bay Packers. But now look, you're going to have to pay Dak Prescott bare minimum 52 per a year. And that's like a slight discount.
He's not taking that. I know we want to start there. He's starting at 55.
I understand Realistically. Right, so.
Yeah.
To me,
and I don't even like Dak, and you know that. But if you're giving Jordan Love 55, I'm starting at the table and looking at Jerry like I need 56.
I wouldn't even say Jordan Love. I would say Trevor Lawrence.
Any of them. You could pick any of them.
Trevor Lawrence never won a playoff game. I'm going by people.
Yeah.
All respect, Tua never won
even
a playoff
Tua.
So if I'm Dak Prescott's agent, I'm going by, all right, this dude never won a playoff game. This dude never won a playoff game. My guy won two playoff games. We need 60. We need 60.
Elvis, out of those guys that I mentioned, there's only 2 guys. Oh, no, there's 3 guys that have been more accomplished than Dak Prescott. Jalen Hurts, Lamar Jackson, and Jared Goff. Outside of them, Justin Herbert hasn't done anything. He got paid off pure talent, and I'm the biggest Justin Herbert fan. You know that. Tua hasn't done anything. Oh, and Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow as well. He's gone to a Super Bowl. So 4. And then all those other guys, Jordan Love, Trevor Lawrence, they haven't done what Dak's done. They need to get paid. You just need to. You have to start at 56. I'm sorry.
One thing I would say is Dak already got one max deal from the Cowboys. It wouldn't shock me if he takes a little discount. remember, Dill, CeeDee Lamb yet to report to camp, and Micah Parsons is not happy right now either. He wants a full deal as well. He wants 200 plus. He wants to be the highest defensive player paid of all time. CeeDee Lamb wants to reset the market at the receiver position. We just saw what Justin Jefferson and others just got at the position. Now Dak is seeing what Tua, Jordan Love,
he's
Trevor
licking
Lawrence
his lips.
He's
Pause.
licking his lips. Even Jared Goff. You
Yeah.
know, you can make the case like I will honestly say the case Jared Goff and Dak are about even right now in their careers.
But I guess he's just accomplished more.
Yeah, he went to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But, you know, I'm pretty sure Dak probably has more Pro Bowlers.
And better numbers, probably.
Yeah. But I'm going to say Dak and Goff are pretty much even.
Yeah.
So I'm going to need at least the exact or more what Jared Goff is getting.
And Jared Goff is making 53.
Yeah, I need more than Tua and Trevor Lawrence because I won a playoff game.
By the way, I'm so happy for Jared Goff. I don't want to. This podcast is derailing a little bit. Let me get us back. But like Jared Goff is, I'm so happy for a guy like that. They send him away in a dying organization, and here comes Dan Campbell and him, and they win together. He gets it's a great story, and
now they're contenders for the next.
They're a top 5 team.
They got a window. That's what I'm saying. They got a window.
And I'm happy, and we'll stay with the Lions because Lions left tackle Taylor Decker, he reached an agreement, 3 years, $60 million, one of the best left tackles in the game. He was entering last season with his deal. They paid him $13.7 million. He's now under contract through the 2027 season. He turns 31 next month. It will bring him to a career earnings of over $140 million, and he might get one more contract when he's 34. He opened up after practice today, and he opened up about how the contract process went with the Lions. He said he was in talks with the organization for about a year and a half, and he was kind of fed up with all like the higher ups, and he kind of went into Dan Campbell's office, asked him man to man to have an honest conversation. A couple of days later, he got paid. So love that Dan Campbell probably went into orders like, listen, he's the big boy. We went up front, pay my fucking guy, and that's exactly what happened. I'm happy for Taylor Decker.
Yeah, Dale, shout out Decker. To me, he might be a little underpaid, if I'm just being honest, but
he might be the best left tackle.
He's up there. I'm gonna still give it a Trent. Nelson. Oh no, Nelson's a guard for coach, but I'm gonna give it a Trent. But at the end of the day, Dale, we know who's coming next for the Detroit Lions. That's Penny Sewell. Penny Sewell might get a bag. He really might get one of the highest paid offensive line contracts of all time. Penny Sewell is a stud, and we know he's up next. Hopefully that don't take a year and a half. Another great signing for the Detroit Lions. They're going in the right direction. And one thing they need to do, if they're going to keep running the ball with Gibbs and David Montgomery, Jared Goff passing back, they need to protect those guys. They need to have key blocking up front like they did last season. So, to me, taking care of him. Hopefully, Penny Sewell is next. Because if you pair him and Penny Sewell, left tackle, left guard, that left side is going to be protected for about 3 to 5 years.
Yeah, and then they also have, who's the guy? Tyler Rocknow as well.
Bro, that's one of the best offensive line in football. One of the best. Yeah,
easy. And it's always, and it's always kind of been their forte. They've always kind of been good, but yeah, they're really getting. I was trying to look up. I thought he got paid. I could be wrong.
He got drafted 3 years ago.
Yeah, this is his fourth year.
Yeah, next year, this upcoming season, paid.
No. Yeah, he did.
He did?
Yeah, he signed a 4-year, $112 million contract, $85 million guaranteed. Yeah, he got more.
Hey, yeah. No,
rightfully so, though.
Yeah, he's one of the best guards in all
He's a guard.
Football.
Yeah, he's a guard. But still, that offensive line is sick. Yeah, 3 years, $60 million. He's making $20 a year.
Yeah,
which
a little underpaid.
A little underpaid.
He should get 25.
And I think it's only right we end with this news because, we're talking about them, their future market a little later on in the show. But Bengals wide receiver, we kind of got news. He wasn't stretching. He was showing up, but he wasn't stretching. He wasn't at practice on Sunday. Wasn't at practice again today. He was there, but just not participating. He missed his 5th straight practice, and he has yet to participate in training camp. All these wide receivers are getting money. Do you see some resolution going on, or do you think he winds up playing? Because we know how underpaid Jamar Chase is.
I'll tell you what, I would not want to be in the front office of the Cincinnati Bengals.
No.
Just because one of your wide receivers is going to be disappointed. It's going to be T. Higgins. It's going to be Jamar Chase. Because clearly, to me, you're not going to be able to sign both. The fact that you got your number 1 and number 2 wide receivers not in camp, not practicing,
not good,
and the fact that your number 3 is in Jacksonville, Tyler Boyd, it's not good. It's not good. So if I'm Joe Burrow, I'm gonna go up to the front office myself. I'm going with my coach, and I'm gonna see if we could get something done. Maybe like something like he did with Dan Campbell. But if I'm Joe Burrow, I'm going to the front office myself, and I'm gonna be like, yo, what the fuck are we doing? We need to get something done. What y'all expect me to do without Jamar Chase and T. Higgins? I can't do much without both. Season starts Thursday. Texas play Thursday.
Hall of Fame game, baby.
Hall of Fame game is Thursday. Season starts about what? 38 days, if that.
If that, yeah.
So less than 40 days, Joe Burrow's gonna have to step on the field and play. Oh, the Patriots play us, and our defense we gonna be flying high. Our defense gonna be flying high. J.C. Jackson one side, Christian Gonzalez the other side. Jabril in the middle.
He just got paid.
It's a scary sight. I'm trying
Judon.
Joe Burrow do not want to face the New England Patriots without his wide receiver 1 and the wide receiver 2. So I think Jamar Chase should sit out. And to be honest, he deserves to be at least a top 3 highest paid wide receiver of all time.
Yeah.
He's right there with CeeDee Lamb, with Justin Jefferson. You could whatever else you want, Devontae Adams, whoever you want to put in the top 5. I'm gonna put Jamar Chase in my top 3. To me, the kid's a stud. To me, I want to say they need both T. Higgins and Jamar Chase, but you definitely need one in camp by Friday. I need one of those guys in the building on the field by August 2nd. If you're not doing that, Cincinnati, what the hell are you gonna get done? To be honest, so shout out Jamar Chase for holding out as he should. To me, they both deserve a contract, but the Cincinnati Bengals front office, you need to get one of those guys on the field ASAP.
Who gets paid for CeeDee Lamb or Jamar Chase, and if so, who gets paid more?
Whoever gets signed second gets paid more. So
smart man.
That's a trick question.
Yeah.
Who I think gets signed first? I think it's going to be Jamar Chase. Just because you got Brandon Cooks in Dallas, you got some players that you had last season. Right now, if Jamar Chase, T. Higgins is not there, we already know Tyler Boyd is gone. You're going to have a whole new 3 starting wide receiver for the Cincinnati Bengals. First year with Joe Burrow and in this offense. I mean, let's not forget people. They also have a new offensive coordinator as well. So it's going to be a lot of learning. You don't want to do that this late. Like, say if T. Higgins and Jamar Chase, let's just say they start practicing August 20th. To me, the Bengals going to struggle a little bit the first couple
early
weeks.
on, yeah.
They're going to struggle a little bit. They're going to have to learn a whole new playbook. Him and Burrow and these guys going to get in rhythm. Let's not forget, Burrow missed the last, 6-7 games of the season last year. So,
yeah, that risk.
Don't get me wrong. I guarantee it won't take long, but it's going to take at least a couple of weeks for them to get right back on rhythm like they were when they went to the Super Bowl. So,
yeah, I think you make a great point. I think once they re-sign Jamar Chase, because I don't think that's a outlandish take or a curveball, they're going to pick Jamar Chase. And it's no disrespect to T. Higgins, but Jamar Chase is a top 5
wide receiver. T. Higgins, you're a solid top 20. You're a 1A,
and he could be a 1 on other teams.
Number 2, but you're a 1 in about 10 to 15 teams in the league. You're 1, but Jamar Chase, it's a 1 for 25 plus.
I just don't understand why these teams are waiting so long to re-sign household names. But you're going to have to. Don't you see, not you, in general speaking, don't they see how the market is moving? At a certain point, are you just going to trust your judgment saying, you know what, you're replaceable? Kind of like what the Patriots do for sometimes, to say, I'll just draft someone.
One thing I could honestly say, Dil, all these players that we're talking about are under contract. They're just severely underpaid. So from the management and owners' perspective, you guys are under contract making millions of dollars. You should play for us no matter what. You should honor your contract, and you should be in the building playing, practicing, doing what you got to do as a courtesy to us for, giving you this contract.
Yeah.
Which I agree on. But I will also agree that all these players we just named are severely underpaid. and
100%.
deserve to get paid triple or double the amount they're going to be getting this season. So I understand both sides of the ball, but you got to get this deal done if you're the front office, especially if you're Cowboys with CD, Micah, and Dak. But are you just going to be mediocre? That's what you want to
Yeah.
be?
And I'll
Like
say
the
I'll take a
Bengals.
yeah.
If like, real quick though, just say, can we honestly say the Bengals are contenders? How they were the last 2 seasons without Jamar Chase and T Higgins? I can't go that far.
No,
I
yeah.
can't go that far. So, do you want to be the Bengals you were the previous 10 seasons from 2010 to 2020, or you want to be that team that snuck into the Super Bowl and shocked everybody 2 years ago? You gotta have that conversation in the front office.
Yeah, I think the urgency, and I think I would take a different approach. I would actually say there's more urgency on the Cowboys side to get CD Lamb in camp as opposed to Jamar Chase, because I think it's going to get done eventually. I don't know if it's come July 29th, we sit here at 8:30 at night. I don't know if he's going to be a Cowboy. I would hope.
I say he will be, because at the end of the day, look at the numbers he put up last season.
But like you said, Cowboys actually have some weapons that could play with. Joe Burrow has no one outside T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. I don't really like Zach Moss. We'll talk about him in a little. I don't think they have a great run game. Offensive line has always been worrisome, which is why he got hurt. I think they need this. They need Jamar Chase or T. Higgins. Cowboys, they got some guys they can play with. They're going to win some games. They're always going to be competitive. Obviously, CD puts them over the top. We all know that. We're not debating that. And I think CD knows that as well. And I think he's going to say, you know what? You're playing it close to the chest. I'm going to play it close to the chest. Who's going to, it's like a game of dodgeball or a chicken. Who's going to go off the edge first? And I think CD might say, fuck it. I'll get paid somewhere. You don't want to pay me? I'm a top 5 receiver. Someone's going to pay me. Jamar Chase is going to get it settled. They don't have an option. That Cowboys kind of have an option, I feel like, or they have some pieces. Obviously, it's nowhere near the CD level, but it's still some pieces that could work with. That's kind of why I see it's so shocking and it's so crazy that Jerry is wanting to play this game with CD. It doesn't, I don't know. I don't think it works out in the end for him, to be honest.
Me either, Joe. At the end of the day, CD, like I said, CD's under contract this season for $17 million, which is severely underpaid. He's underpaid, but he is under contract though.
Yeah, 100%. All right, let's get to some NBA news over the weekend. United States, they did win the first game of the Paris Olympics, 110-84. They beat Serbia, Joker's team. He had a good game, 28-5, but I mean, it was led by LeBron James and Kevin Durant. I mean, what a fucking first game back. Kevin Durant, 23 points, 8 for 9 from the field. He was 5 for 5 behind the line as well. What a performance. I mean, LeBron James, he went crazy as well. 21 points, 8 rebounds, 9 assists. My one problem, and I hate to be that old man, and I'm not even, and you know me, everyone knows I'm a New York Knicks fan. I hate the fucking Boston Celtics, but you couldn't find 1 minute to play Jason Tatum. I don't give a fuck about Tyrese Halliburton, but Jason Tatum is an NBA champion. He's a top 10 player in the league. I don't want to hear anything. And you couldn't find 1 minute in a lopsided victory. Elvis, the line was a USA minus 13.5. They winded up winning by over 20 points. You couldn't find 1 minute to play Jason Tatum. I think that's on Steve Kerr, man. I think that's a lame move, honestly.
I'm going to go to the game first, Dale. To be honest, I think we saw one of the greatest performances in Olympic history, Dale. Considering the circumstances, Kevin Durant has not balled up in a game since April. My man Kevin Durant hasn't balled up since Game 4, Round 1 against the Timberwolves, when Ant called him an old ass dude. Let's just say dude. The man came out. He was an hour before the game. He got ruled he's gonna play. Coming off a calf injury. The 10th man off the bench. The 10th man. The guy comes in with 2 minutes left in the first quarter. And in the second quarter. makes his first 5 shots. Make his first 8 shots. Fuck that. Make his first 8 shots. Shoots 5 for 5 from the 3-point line. Let's not forget, people, when Kevin Durant got exerted to this game, they were down 6. When Kevin Durant, or when at halftime, when Kevin Durant hit that fadeaway at the buzzard, they were up 9. The game was over right there at halftime. Kevin Durant literally took the game over. The fact that he was able to come in, give you 22 cold out of the bed, to me is just flat out special. The fact that man, look at the tough games we were saying that, Canada, Germany, South Sudan, bro, Kevin Durant didn't even play against none of those, and he looked like the best player in the world. Looked like the best player in the world, though, coming off his bed. So shout out Kevin Durant, LeBron, another great game. Overall, Team USA in the first quarter didn't look that impressive. As soon as KD came on the court, we just blew him off. Jokic had a huge game. Bogdanovic, I'm gonna be honest, Bogdanovic was dropping buckets, but
He was.
as soon as KD came in the game, the game was honestly over. So shout out Kevin Durant for a tremendous game. LeBron, another huge game. Everybody else played pretty well.
Jason Tatum didn't.
Joel Embiid got to stay off the foul trouble. Now I'm gonna get to Jason Tatum and Tyrese Halliburton. I'm gonna blame Steve Kerr. At the end of the day, to me, all 12 players should play at least 5
minutes. Yeah,
at least. Tyrese Halliburton, I understand. He said it was matchups. Jason Tatum is 6'8".
Yeah,
One of the best players in the NBA. He could play the 1. I'm not sure he could play the 5, but I guarantee if you put him on Jokic for a couple of possessions, he'll hold his own.
He'll be better than Embiid was.
He'll hold his own.
Honestly.
So, Steve Kerr, I don't know if you just lost track or if KD just started bugging. You was like, you know what, KD could just go. KD, go. Maybe it was that. Maybe he didn't think, you know what, Kevin Durant's going to go off like this. He's going to start 8 for 8. Maybe he was going to have Durant in a more limited role, but he was so hot. Maybe Kevin Durant took some of Jason Tatum minutes. That's the only thing I could think about. So I'm not justifying it. I'm not trying to defend Steve Kerr. That's the only thing I could come up with, that Kevin Durant played so well that Steve Kerr and other coaches just forgot about Tyrese and Tatum and just let KD cook and lead USA to victory. That's the only thing I could think of, in my opinion. Jason Tatum, Tyrese Halliburton deserve to play more than 5 minutes a game, but at the bare minimum, they should at least play 5 minutes.
There's no reason you should lose track of an NBA champion on your bench. There's just no way. There's just no way. And also, the 5-minute thing, I agree. At least 3 to 5 minutes. Matchups, no disrespect, but it's Serbia. You're telling me there's not one good matchup, Jason? What?
Yeah, and don't get me wrong. Like, Devin Booker's on. You're not gonna Jason Tatum, Devin Booker. I'm not gonna say who's better, who's not, but I'm gonna say Jason Tatum is the better defender, and he's the bigger body. That, to me, he wins any matchup. Unless Devin Booker is just guarding straight guards. I don't know. To me, Jason Tatum is the better defender, and he could bring the ball up as well. So if Devin Booker's getting 15 plus minutes a night, you should at least find Jason Tatum to get those some of them. Anthony Edwards as well. I'm not comparing who's better, who's not. All I'm saying is, if Anthony Edwards fits the matchups, how come Jason Tatum don't? If Devin Booker fits the matchup, how come Jason Tatum don't? If Bam Adebayo fits him, Jason Tatum's about, 10 pounds, 20 pounds lighter, 1.5 inches shorter than Bam, if that. Him and Bam might be the same height. So, to me, he should have just owned and said, yo, honestly, I fucked up. Instead of saying it was matchups.
That's a weak excuse. Yeah, I didn't fuck with that. Yeah,
that was crazy. If anything, Jason Tatum is one of the biggest mismatches in the NBA, in the world.
Yeah.
You can play him at the 2, you can play him at the 4.
Yeah, I'm kind of lost the words. I also wanted to make a comment. Yeah, that's all I'll say on Jason Tatum needs to play, though. That's ridiculous.
Steve Kerr should start him. He should start him.
And you know who? And you take Embiid out.
Rico. We play
No. Our next game is South Sudan. Yeah. South Sudan on Wednesday at 3 p.m.
I ain't gonna hold you. South Sudan like that. We need KD to start against South Sudan.
I'll just say this: it's not even the fouls, kid. He only had 3 fouls, Embiid, but 0 for 3 from the free throw line. I mean, those you should make them. You're an NBA fucking star.
He fouled down like 20 minutes in one of the
Yeah, but that's exhibition. This is the real thing. I mean, say that we could throw those shits out the window. That doesn't mean anything anymore. I mean, he hasn't looked good all exhibition. He hasn't looked good first game, 4 points, 2 rebounds. There's no reason Drew Holiday should be out rebounding you. There's just no way. This is why people are on you, because you're coddled, you're overhyped, and people want to say, oh, it's him or Jokic. That's not even a debate. I don't understand why people continue to have that debate. It's not a debate anymore. They're not even on the same playing field. 2 for 5 from the field. He was 0 for 1 from 3-point line, 0 for 3 from the free throw line. He had 3 turnovers. I mean, you have more turnovers than you have rebounds. How is that possible? I truly don't understand. Like, you're supposed to be this MVP type guy, but yet on the biggest stage against the world, you fall flat on your face. AD should be starting. And if you don't want to start AD, start Bam. They've both been better than him.
Bam been playing great, honestly.
So I don't understand. And Embiid should not be playing. Put KD in, put AD. Anthony Edwards has been better than him. Anthony Edwards will get rebounds. He went for 11, 5, and 5 off the bench and played less minutes than him. How is that? How is that possible? He was averaging 10 boards in the playoffs. How many times did we hit over Jason Tatum rebounds? I lost count because we hit him so many times. But like, Embiid is just he's done. He's the most coddled, overhyped, whatever word you want to use in the NBA right now. I mean, it's sloppy. He doesn't look comfortable. It's a real problem they have at the center position. I'm not even trying to gas it at this point. I think they really do. Unless they just start Bam or they start AD, which any of them would be better at this point. I went on a tangent, so go.
I ain't mad at you, Dale. You know what? I would say Joel Embiid is underplaying. To be honest, I think he could. I agree with you. He could definitely give us a little more. Maybe he's just not going full throttle. I don't know what it is, Dale. But I do agree with you. Anthony Davis and Bam has been playing better. And if let's just, for example, if Joel Embiid, let's just say he doesn't want to give it his all or go 100%,
don't play,
bro. You don't, bro.
Yeah, no one's forcing you.
Take a couple minutes off. Give those minutes to Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum can easy average a double-double in the Olympics. I guarantee it. Give Jason Tatum 15 minutes a night. He'll get you 10 points. He'll get you rebounds. He'll get the board. So I think Jason Tatum could do that for you. I expect, don't get me wrong, I think Joel Embiid could give you a couple monster games. I just feel like, personally, he's not that into it. You know, he's not, breathing or
he's too worried about what everyone else thinks.
I just feel like he's not bleeding red, white, and blue.
Yeah, so don't
like
play
LeBron
for us.
Plays for America. He cares about. You see his after layup, he's still like it's an NBA game. No, I'm dead ass. Like, he's still flexing his muscle. He's rocking his shoulders.
Okay,
still rocking you to sleep. Like, these players are going to put on for their country. Let's not forget, Joel Embiid is not an American. He's not American. He was not born here.
You said it, not me.
So maybe, he's not just going out there putting his full throttle like the other Americans are. Kevin Durant, Anthony Edwards, LeBron James, Steph Curry, Bam, Anthony Davis. Maybe that we got to take that in consideration as well.
Yeah, well, they need to figure it out. Game Wednesday in the afternoon, 3 p.m. So we'll talk about that next pod. But they are 30-point favorites right now. I mean, they played a close one next in exhibition. I doubt it will be that close, but you still got to take the 30+, right?
I'm taking the +30 with South Sudan, Dill. I understand you just say, throw all those games away. I'm not. South Sudan played great, and I expect them to at least cover that. I'll be honest, I wouldn't be shocked.
And they won their first game.
If it's a 10-point game, 8-point game. It wouldn't shock me at all if USA wins like 102-88, 102-94. It wouldn't shock me one bit.
Yeah, and they won their first game of the 2024 Olympics. They beat Puerto Rico 9. They won by 11 points.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure they're the first African team to win in
their first
basketball in over 30 years.
Yeah, it was insane. And another story I heard today was Lau Deng. I think the reason he was playing so long and trying to get all those contracts, he was funding this team and trying to build it himself. Mm-hmm. I mean, what a fucking guy Lau Deng is. I mean, if you're not rooting for South Sudan, if your country isn't competitive, I mean, I don't know what other story is better. I'm rooting for them, but not Wednesday. I hope we fucking destroy them.
If USA don't go for gold, South Sudan, that's my second team. Because Lau Deng coming out of pocket and personally funded all of this. He pays for court time, food, planes, uniform, everything. Like I said,
Everything.
last pod or 2 pods ago, South Sudan don't even have an indoor court. They're building one right now as we speak. So in their country, they practice outside. When they practice
Yeah.
outside, it was probably at the Olympics. And the fact that this team, look how well they played against America. Look how good they looked against Puerto Rico. Let's see how good they look tomorrow against the USA again. They got a second shot at it, though.
Yeah.
And to be honest, they're gonna be confident. Look how well they played. They almost beat us. Should I throw you that shot at the corner? If it wasn't go James driving down the lane,
Of course.
it could have been a different story, deal. So I think South Sudan, fuck the plus 30. I think they're also live. So I think
Wow.
the plus 30, you hammer that for all the people listening. Hammer the plus 30.5. I'm telling you, that's disrespectful.
They're such big underdogs, Elvis.
They're live.
The two sports books that I have open in front of me, they don't even have money line odds. That's how big of an underdog they
I'll
are.
sprinkle
But
something on the money line.
we'll see. Good luck. Should be a very good game. We will be tuned into that. Overall, for the Olympics, we do have the most out of everyone. Overall medals, we have 20. Second is France with 16. Japan is 20th. But we don't have the most golds. Japan does at 6. We only have 3 gold. We have 8 silver, tied for France with the most, and we have the most bronze, 9. Japan has 4. So we got the most, but we need to get those golds up, kid. What's going on there?
I don't know, dude. I think we're starting slow. Maybe in a week from now we'll have the lead in the gold. But at least we got the medals going. We need to go on and pop, and hopefully by the weekend the numbers up there.
All right, we'll have an updated tracker for you next episode. But before we get to our futures between the Ravens, the Bengals, we got some baseball plays at the end as well. We just gave you plus 30 for South Sudan. Quick word from our sponsor. We are brought to you each and every episode by Viva Tequila Seltzer, the most refreshing hard seltzer on the market, hands down. It's no wonder why Viva was voted #1 hard seltzer in the world by San Francisco World Spirit Competition. New flavor, coconut. Go over and try it out. Light, 4.5 ABV, only 88 calories, 0 carbs, 0 sugar. Viva is the perfect drink for your post-game celebration, as it was created with that active lifestyle in mind. We flavor tequila seltzer because flavor is the spice of life, and we like our drinks. So just a kick. Just like how we like our lives, whether it's Huckleberry playing around the golf with the boys or watching the Hall of Fame game, drinking a coconut, it doesn't matter. Our favorites pair perfectly with that Artisanal Blanco tequila for that subtle and refreshing drink. Our belief here at the Dream Wedger and at Viva is to live long, live well, and live it up. All right, kid, I'm going to throw a curveball at you because I know we said we were going to start with the Ravens, but I actually want to start with the Bengals. There's a lot to discuss here with the Bengals. Injury season last year, they had a very tough schedule, the league's hardest schedule. It's the biggest flop. We'll talk about their schedule in a minute because now this year they have the 6th easiest schedule among 32 teams. It's the biggest lopside in NFL history from one year to the other. And they still finished with a winning record. I think Zach Taylor, you mentioned the OC. He is the OC. He does call the plays now. But still finishing with Jake Browning, a winning record. They were very competitive, I thought, in most games. 9-8, coming off a 12-5 year before that. 10-7 this year. Win total sits at 10.5 as well, but they got really good odds everywhere. I mean, plus 1,500 to win the Super Bowl. They have the 3rd best odds to come out of the AFC at plus 750. The AFC North, plus 165. They have the 2nd best odds to win the division. Win total, like I said, 10.5. Odds favor to go over that, minus 134 to the over. Under is at plus money, plus 110 to make the playoffs, minus 225 to not make the playoffs, plus 180. So I think odds makers are seeing what I'm seeing, and I think we see a bounce back year for the Cincinnati Bengals. I'm going to take them to make the playoffs. I like the over 10.5 wins. Division, I'll say they have a shot. If the Ravens don't win it, it's going to be the Cincinnati Bengals. They have to stay healthy, and I know T. Higgins might not be there, but for all intents and purposes, we are imagining he is on the team right now. So,
what Jamar Chase or T. Higgins? Definitely one will be on the team.
Yeah, no, they're definitely for sure one of them will be on the team. It's a little chalky, like I mentioned, minus 134, but I do like it. Joe Burrow is back, man. He dealt with a calf injury in the first half of the season. Then that wrist injury. I was at the game Thursday night in Baltimore, and you never want to see it. I mean, I was rooting obviously for the Baltimore Ravens. I have ties there, but Joe Burrow is one of my favorite quarterbacks, and when he went down, it was even in Baltimore on the road. The energy died in the stadium because I mean, no one wants Joe Burrow to go down. It's not good for football. So they were 4-1 with him at the starting quarterback position. And, if he is healthy, which I think he will be this year, I think they could make a real run at not just the division, but at the AFC as well. I mentioned the toughest schedule last season. They have the 6th easiest schedule this season. And I mentioned it at the top, man. I've really turned around on Zach Taylor. This is his fifth year with the team, winning coach. And I think he showed a lot of improvement. I wouldn't say down on him, but I was skeptical on him. I had a lot of questions. I think he did a great job last season, especially when Joe Burrow went down. They were in the playoff race for most of the season, and they finished with the winning record. Like I said, 9-8. And I thought he was creative on offense with Jake Browning at the helm. No disrespect to Jake Browning, but he's no fucking Joe Burrow. So it makes life a lot harder. I got to give credit to Zach Taylor. I think he's a really good coach, man. So for all those reasons, I'm going to go over 10.5 wins. I do think they could make the playoffs. Division, I'll say it's a better in-season play. I'll see how the Ravens start off and see how the Cincinnati Bengals, but I think it will be one of those two teams. So I'll hold off on the division.
All right, Joe. To be honest, I agree with most of the things you said. Let's start on Zach Taylor. I think last year he proved he's a pretty good damn head coach. Real quick, just when Joe Burrow went down, we all thought the season was over, and then you had Jake Browning for a few games averaging over 300 yards a game. To me, that you got to give credit to the coaching staff as well. Backups to come in. I understand they couldn't get to the playoffs, but Jake Browning was out here winning games. So that you got to give credit to the coaching staff on that. Still, to be honest, I like this Bengals team, and to be one of the reasons why is the strength of schedule. They gotta, real quick to go to Baltimore has such a tough schedule, and then the Cincinnati, I thought they're gonna have a similar schedule. They have a much easier schedule. To me, that's the reason why I'm gonna go. Give me the Bengals to win the division at plus 165. Give me the Bengals over. I will take the over 10.5 minus 134 to put that bet in. For the year at minus 134, I would not. To me, I to win the division at plus 165, I think is a better bet. But don't get me wrong, I do like both. But I just to wait a whole year on minus 134, I wouldn't advise to do it. But give me the over win 10.5, win the division at plus 165. I think they could get to 12 wins, though. So give me to win exactly 12 wins at plus 600. Give me a sprinkle, Joe Burrow to win the MVP at plus 1,000. I think if healthy.
Hold up. Before we go to player props, anything else? We're just talking division. Yeah,
right, real quick.
You're trucking along, kid. Hold up. Division, Super Bowl, win total.
Win total over 10.5 to win 12 plus games plus 600 to win the division plus 165. And this is my other team to represent the AFC. I'm gonna have one more. I got the Texans so far. Give me the Bengals plus 750 to win the AFC.
Yeah, I counted 11 to 12 wins as well. I even counted 13 at one point, but then I gave one back.
Yeah. Gotta give that back. They're going over for sure.
Yeah,
they're going over. For
no,
sure.
I thought I muted my mic for a sec, but yeah, I think start off the season they have a really easy schedule. Besides the away game in week 2 at Arrowhead. They're at home against the Patriots, at home against the Commanders. Then they play Carolina. Then they play the Giants. Then they're at home against the Ravens. Tough game. I think we'll talk about the Browns, but I think they're going to beat up on the Browns this year. Then they're home. They get the home game against Philly. Most of their hard games are at home. The only away games that I think are tough, one obviously at Pittsburgh, one at Baltimore. I think they're both tough places to play.
Those are all in division.
Yeah.
Those are
all. All right. So let's just do outside division. The only true tough road game I would say they have, I'll say 2. Cowboys in week 14 on Monday Night Football. That's a primetime game. And then week 2 in Arrowhead. Outside of that, all of their tough games are home. So, yeah, I agree. I think they could win 12, 13 games if they stay healthy. I think this
If
team, that's why
huge
I
if I
said,
agree.
that's why I said I do like them to win the division. I think they are the best team in the division if they can stay healthy. But if Joe Burrow goes down,
Right.
I'm not very high, and that's no disrespect. And we're both high on Zach Taylor, but I just don't see their backup, which is still Jake Browning. Shout out Jake Browning, kept his spot. I just don't see him carrying them into the promised land, especially when Lamar's coming off an MVP season. You got Pittsburgh and Russ, let it ride. So, like, Deshaun Watson's on his revenge tour. Like, this is a tough division. You can't be complacent. So that's why I was very high on Zach Taylor in a tough division, still becoming 9-8 after we all wrote them off. I think that says something for Zach Taylor, man. So I agree. Let's go to player props. So you started to get into it. Joe Burrow to lead the league in passing yards. He has the fifth best odds at plus 1,200. His passing yards is at 3,950.5, minus 112 both ways. And his over-under passing touchdowns is at 27.5, minus 118 to the over, minus 108 to the under. Now, he only threw for 2,300 yards. Obviously, he got hurt. 15 touchdowns, only 6 interceptions. Let's start with the most regular season yards. You think he's live for that?
To be honest, no. Just because I have a pretty good feeling he won't have Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. If both of them is on the field the whole season, he has a shot. But
Yeah.
when you got the wide receiver core CJ has, even Tua, I'm gonna give those guys a better shot to lead the league in passing than Joe Burrow with Jamar, because Gina Wilder, Tyreek, you got Stephon, you got Nico, you got Tank Dell in Houston. I just have a feeling those guys could just do so much after the catch. So don't get me wrong, Jamar Chase is a stud, T. Higgins is a stud, but if both of those guys not in the lineup, to me it's just gonna be tough for Joe Burrow to outgun those guys with those weapons.
Yeah, 100%. I'm not gonna take it just because I don't think the 1,200. One of them's not gonna be there. T. Higgins is not gonna be there. We think so. I'm not gonna touch that. I am gonna go over 3,900 because Joe Burrow is a top 5 quarterback in the league. I mean, he's gonna throw for 4,000 yards. Look at 2022 when he was healthy. He almost threw for 4,500 yards. He threw for 4,475 yards. He threw for 35 touchdowns. I mean, he was one of the best quarterbacks in the league, if not the best. 2021, still, he had a better season, 4,611 yards. He threw for 34 touchdowns. And in his rookie year, not the best, but still 2,600 yards. He tore his ACL. Again, where he got hurt. If he doesn't get hurt, there's no reason he doesn't throw for over 4,000 yards, regardless if T. Higgins is there. They bring in Mike Gesicki, tight end. I like him as well. You got the guy Tyron Irwin. He's the slot receiver. I think he's pretty good. But there's some pieces there. He'll still get over it. Jamar Chase is going to be, we'll talk about him in a second. But yeah, I like his over passing yards, and I'm going to take his over passing touchdown, 27.5. You could just chalk him up for 30 plus if he stays healthy, which I think he will. So I'm going to go over both of them.
Yeah, I'm also going over 27.5 touchdowns at minus 118. To be honest, this number is a little disrespectful, but I understand he has somewhat of an injury history.
He does. That's
and
fair.
then I'm also going to go over 3,950.5. This number is also a little disrespectful, but once again, to be fair, he does have somewhat of an injury history. Like you said, in those 2 healthy seasons, the guy went for 4,475, and then the year prior, 4,611 yards. Joe Burrow, when healthy, to me, he's a stud. That's why I got to sprinkle him plus 1,000 to win the MVP deal. Like I said, I just told you I got him to win 12 plus games, 12 wins at plus 600. You win 12 plus games, you win the division, you have a good shot on winning the MVP. So give me Joe Burrow MVP at plus 1,000. To me, it's definitely worth a sprinkle. When healthy, if he plays 16 plus game, 15 plus game, he's gonna be a top 5 in every single category in the NFL: passing touchdowns, touchdown interception ratio, and most likely wins. So I'm gonna give Joe Burrow a shot at the MVP, over 27.5 touchdowns and over 3,950.5 passing yards.
All right, let's go to Zach Moss, which Interesting guy. They bring him in, a guy from Utah, about 4 years into the league. I like Zach Moss. I just think he hasn't been used correctly. We'll see what Zach Taylor does. His rushing prop is at 750 and a half, minus 112 both ways. His rushing touchdowns at five and a half, minus 112 both ways. Not going to touch the 5.5 touchdowns. He's never gone over in his 4-year career. Last year was his best. He had 5 touchdowns, but other than there, 2022, 1 touchdown, 2022, 4, and then 2020, his rookie year, he had 4. First 2 years of the league, he barely cracked over 400 rushing yards. Like I said, he was never really the number one. 2022, 456. Last year was his best year. He had 794 rushing yards for 5 touchdowns. He averaged about 4.5 yards per pop. I'm going to take a chance. I don't know if I'll really get it, but if you want something to bet, I would lean over. I do think the Bengals have a top 10 offensive line. They ranked them the 9th best offensive line in the league. They did make some additions there as well. So he's with the best team he has. I just don't know if they're going to run the ball as much as people think they will. We know Zach Taylor's a pass-first guy, especially when you have Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. You bring in a guy like Mike Gesicki, he wants the ball a lot too. Not a lot, but he demands the ball as well.
He wants some balls.
And Zach Moss isn't that type of power guy where even when you're in the red zone or goal line, you're going to give it to him. I do think he has the best offensive line he's had in his pro career. I'll lean over. I think he gets it because he has the best offensive line. But outside of that, I just don't know if he'll get 200 carries. I think he gets maybe 150, 160. The most carries he's ever got was last year, 183 carries, and that was 27th in the league. Will Zach Taylor actually give him the ball more? I think that's the biggest question. Honestly, I really want nothing to do with Zach Moss this season. Gonna stay away from the touchdowns, and if you had to pick over/under for the yards, slight lean to the over, but I'm not confident, kid. Anything here for Zach Moss?
To be honest, I don't love it. I'll lean the under just because, I don't expect him to be the starting running back all season long. I mean, Zach Moss is solid, but to me, it's gonna be tough shoes to replace Joe Mixon. He had a great career in Cincinnati. Let's not forget about last season. He had a great career in Cincinnati. So to me, it's gonna be hard to fill those shoes. So that's why I'm gonna go the under, Bill. Dale. I just have a feeling, him and Chase Brown, the running back number 2. I think they're gonna end up spending time, and then maybe week 4, week 5, week 6, maybe Chase Brown ends up being the starter. We'll see. I just don't know. I got to see how things go. Maybe a couple weeks of preseason. I just not sure if Zach Moss will be the starter for all 17 games.
That's fair. Yeah, that's fair. It could be a two-man horse as well, especially if he doesn't perform early. I think that's all fair. Let's go to the man, the myth, the legend, Jamar Chase. To lead the league single season in reception yards, plus 1,000, tied for 4th with Ross St. Brown. His receiving yards, 1,225, minus 112 both ways. That's a high number. His receiving touchdowns is at 9.5. And his receptions, if you want to really get into it, 93.5. I'll start before we get into the props. Regular season leader to have the most receiving yards. Tyreek Hill won it last season. Can Jamar Chase win it this year for them?
Can he? Yes. Will he? I think that's a tough task, though. I give him a shot if T. Higgins is not there. If T. Higgins is also there, I'm going to say no, confidently. But if T. Higgins is not there, it's a small chance he might go for 14, 15. Maybe even 16 till if him and Joe Burrow play 16-plus game. If they all play all 17, I definitely do think he has a shot. But if somehow, which I hope, somehow the front office is able to land T. Higgins and Jamar Chase, I think he has no shot. But I give him a shot. I just feel like, Tyreek could possibly do it again. CD in Dallas could do it. We'll see what Minnesota looks like, but Justice Jefferson is still the best wide receiver in football. So I just give those guys a little better of a shot, Dill, but I'm not going to deny and give Jamar Chase absolutely no chance at all. I think his an idea, but I personally wouldn't put my money on it.
Yeah, I wouldn't either, just because you don't know the uncertainty of T. Higgins, and if he is there, it's no shot he's actually going to do it as well. I also think I'll start it. I'm gonna. I
Thinking.
worry. I worry. One prop I do like, I'll say, his receptions. Over 93.5 receptions, I really like. He had 100 receptions last season, and that was the only season he got it. 87 in 2022, and then in his rookie year, he had 81. So he's hovering around the 80 to 100 mark. I think with the healthy Joe Burrow, he gets it. So I do like the over 93.5 receptions. I think he gets 95 to 100 receptions. I think that, especially if T. Higgins isn't there. If T. Higgins is there, I don't know if I like it as much. He's receiving touchdowns, 9.5. I mean, he's only gotten one. He's only gone over this one time, and he had 13 touchdowns his rookie year. And I think, statistically speaking, because Joe Burrow got hurt, that was his best season, 2021. He went for 1,400 yards and 13 touchdowns. I'm going to go under. It's plus 142 for him to have 10 touchdowns, minus 182 to the under.
Damn.
Jamar Chase is good. Like we said, he's a top 5 receiver. I just don't think he'll get 10 receptions. There's a lot of mouths to feed.
10 touchdowns.
Yeah, 10 touchdowns. So I'm going to go under that. His receiving yards, 1,225.5. That's when he only went over his rookie year. 2022, he had 1,046 yards, and then last year he had 1,216. So right underneath. But he had Jake Browning, and that's no disrespect, but I'm gonna bank because I'm so high on Joe Burrow, and I think he is gonna be healthy. You got to imagine if he plays every game, knock on wood, that he has to go over this number, right? I mean, he barely went under it with Jake Browning for most of the season, so. Yeah, slightly into the over receiving yards. I'm going to take the under receptions, but I love his over receptions.
Yeah, I'm going to go over his receiving yards. Like you said, I understand he only went over this mark one time in his career, but last season, he only went under this mark by 9 yards, 10 yards.
Yeah, that's
with
fair.
The half. So I'm going to say he could have easily went over this mark 2 out of his 3 seasons if Joe Burrow is healthy. 2022 season, yeah, he could have won as well. But let's not forget, people, Jamar Chase is one of the best wide receivers in football. Every year of his career, even though it's a short one, he's went over 1,000 plus. And he's hovering around 10, if you average it out, about just under 10 touchdowns a year. I'm gonna go with his under on the touchdowns still. I'm gonna just stay away from the touchdown, but I'm gonna lean the under. I'm gonna go with the over receiving. Just because he's a stud, and without T. Higgins there, without Joe Mixon, I just feel like the offense is going to be hovering a little more around Jamar Chase, a little more focus on him. Maybe he gets a little more targets or something like that. Maybe he gets a little more bubble screen action. Who knows? But if you got to replace T. Higgins, you got to replace Joe Mixon, those yards got to be fulfilled somehow, and I think Jamar Chase will get most of those yards. So give me the over 25.5. I want to touch his touchdowns. I do lean the over, but I think Jamar Chase, just because if T. Higgins is not there, and also the subtraction of Joe Mixon, I just have a feeling Jamar Chase is gonna take some of those yards into his pocket.
Yeah, so I think we're kind of saying we both like the receiving yards. We're both going to go under his receiving touchdowns, but receptions, did you touch that? 93.5. You lean over?
I lean under, Dale. He only done it once, and it was last season. It'll depend. It'll depends. If T. Higgins is not there, yes, he has a shot, but his best season of his career, when he went for over 1,400 yards with 13 touchdowns, he only had 81. So, could he be more efficient with less receptions?
But also goal? T. Higgins was there.
No, I understand that, but think about it. Last season, he had 100 receptions, 1,200 yards. He had 19 less receptions with 200 more yards and 6 more touchdowns.
More explosive plays deep down the field. If T. Higgins doesn't play or isn't on the team, you would lean over then?
No, I'll lean under.
Oh, wow. Regardless.
I think we'll see more of what we saw in 2021. More down the field action, more explosive plays. Because T. Higgins been getting more of the bomb threats because he's a taller wide receiver. I think if T. Higgins is not there, we're going to see Jamar Chase get more of those long balls. That's why I would say lean is under his receptions and over his yards. Because his best season of his career, he had not low, but only 81 receptions, but almost 1,500 yards with 13 touchdowns.
That's a good point. And let's get to the man of the hour. It is T. Higgins. Now, this all depends if he actually even suits up for the Bengals this season. These numbers are projected for if he has Joe Burrow at the helm, if he has Zach Taylor at.
I think not. I personally think
really,
not, yeah.
What if he goes to the Panthers? He can't have these numbers if it's at the Panthers. Bryce Young can't do that.
Numbers. Adam Thielen put up 900 yards last year, Dill. Let's show some respect. I understand where you're coming from, Dill. But Adam Thielen put up those numbers.
That's fair, but he's also been in the game. He's a vet. T. Higgins.
T. Higgins is that? Come on, Dill.
Now you've only been in the league for 4 years.
Yeah, 4 years. He's averaging.
That ain't no vet. T. Higgins been in the league 10 plus. That's my boy. I don't know. It could stay the same, even if he does wind up going to a different team. I think it all depends on the quarterback. Honestly, that's my personal opinion. But his receiving yards is at 875.5, minus 112 both ways. His touchdowns is at 5.5. Over is at minus 142. The under, you could get some plus money, is at plus 112. Now, last year he had 5 touchdowns. 2022 he had 7. 2021 he had 6. And 2020, his rookie year, he had 6 as well. I would actually lean the over. I think he gets it. He's more of a touchdown guy than receiving yards, and I think that's why I kind of would stay away from his receiving yards. He went under it last season. Obviously, Joe Burrow got hurt. But other than that, he's been almost 1,000-yard receiver. I mean, 2022, he had 1,000 yards. 2021, 1,000 yards. His rookie season, almost 1,000 yards. He had 900 yards. So he's gone over this in 3 of his 4 years. The reason I would stay away from the receiving yards is just because I don't know if he's actually going to play for Cincinnati. If you're telling me he will get a contract done and he'll be on the field week 1, then I would take the over everything. But since I don't know that, I'm just going to take the over 5.5. Minus 142. It's chalky for a reason, but I do think he finds 6-7 touchdowns this season. So regardless of where he plays, but how you, I guess, approaching T. Higgins this season?
I'm going to be honest, though. I'm going to take his over on both. Give me the over 5.5 touchdowns. He went over this mark 3 out of his 4 seasons. Like in 2022, he had 7. 2021, he had 6. In 2020, he had 6. Give me over 5.5. T. Higgins, he's the bigger body, and he's the more down the field threat. And to be honest, it doesn't matter what team he's on. I think he's just gonna be in the end zone. And he's gonna go over his receiving prop as well. 875 is just disrespectful, though. He also went over this number 3 out of 4 years. Last season, his quarterback got hurt, and he also missed. I think he missed 2 or 3 games. T. Higgins as well. He would have went over this mark once again last season over both receiving yards and touchdowns. So T. Higgins, we know who he is. He's a great option. He's a down the field threat. And to 875 is just to understand he's most likely gonna end up on a different roster. He's not gonna have Joe Burrow, who's honestly a top 5 quarterback. But we can't deny that T. Higgins is also a pretty good wide receiver, and he's a huge deep threat. So if it's Joe Burrow or if it's fucking Bryce Young, I think T. Higgins goes over 875 receiving yards and 5.5 touchdowns.
That's fair. I appreciate it. And it'll be very interesting. I think it all depends on injury, but both very high on Cincinnati this season, this upcoming season. So we'll see how the dominoes fall, and we'll see where T. Higgins falls, and we'll see if Jamar Chase gets paid. But hopefully everything gets sorted out. Let's go to the other team, the Ravens. Very high on the books. Super Bowl plus 1,000, third best odds to win the Super Bowl. To win the AFC plus 550, they have the second best odds behind the Chiefs. To win the North, they have the best division, the best odds at plus 145. Win total at 10.5, same as Cincinnati. It opened up at 11.5. It's come down to 10.5, minus 122 to the over, plus 100 towards the under. To make the playoffs, minus 250. To miss the playoffs, plus 198. We will start there. I'm going to take them to win over 10.5 wins. I'm going to take them to make the playoffs. And I'm gonna take them to win the division at plus 145.
You don't sound too confident there now, Dill.
It's all the injury, because if they don't stay healthy, and because they do have a really hard schedule, we'll get into that. I just think that, maybe there's an opportunity for Cincinnati at the back end of the season. They go on a hot run like they did in 2022 when they went to the Super Bowl. So it all depends. It's not my most confident division winner, but I do think they are the better team, and I think they have Cincinnati's number. So I think it will come down to those two. But main reason I like the main reason I like the over, and I mentioned it a little earlier, was the total drop from 11.5 to 10.5. I mean, at 11.5, I don't know if I take the over. I'll tell you that much. But at 10.5 minus 122, I think the odds are good enough. I'll take the over. They do have a 6th hardest schedule. I mean, the first 5 weeks are ridiculous. Ooh. I mean, and most of them are on the road. I mean, they opened the Thursday night. They opened up football on the road in Arrowhead. I mean, that is fucking a tough place to play. Then they come home. They should beat Oakland. Then they go on the road against Dallas. Still good defense. They're at home, but still a tough game against Buffalo. On the road against Cincinnati. That's a tough game. Joe Burrow will still be healthy, knock on wood. So, I mean, you got to be 3-2. That would be like an ideal situation. I mean, that's hard to do.
I don't know.
They're favored in 14 games out of 17. What do you think the underdog is? Because they're 3-point underdogs to open up the season. Out of those 3 other games besides Oakland, what other games do you think they're underdogs in?
I say Cincinnati at Cincinnati.
Yeah, they're 1.5-point underdogs
and
at
then
Cincinnati.
Another road game. You said Chiefs. I won't respect Dallas that much. Damn, it's Dallas.
But Dallas. Those are the only 3 games they are underdogs in so far. It's opening week, they're 3-point underdogs. Against Dallas, they're 1.5 underdogs. And at Cincinnati, week 5, they're 1.5 underdogs.
I'll be honest, the way both teams are constructed as of right now, I think the Ravens deserves to be the favorite against Dallas as of right now.
Yeah, and it probably will change.
CeeDee Lamb is not on that roster. So, I don't know, though. To me, real quick, that schedule is tough, in my opinion. That schedule is one of the hardest schedules in the NFL. I'm going to end up staying away from the win total. I'm going to lean the under. It's not saying I just have a feeling it's just a tough schedule, and to redo what they did last season is gonna be tough, though. Lamar is special, John Harbaugh is great, but you lost a lot. To get back to 11, 12 wins, it's just a tough task. So I'm gonna stay away from the 10.5 total. I'll lean the other. Like I said, I wouldn't be shocked if they win 11 games, but I'm not confident enough to bet the over. I'm a bet to win exactly 10 games at plus 600. I think I counted 10 multiple times. I counted 11 once. I didn't really count 9. I never got to 12 though. I think the Baltimore Ravens, they win 10 games, and I'm confident in it. Give me the win 10 games at plus 600.
I counted 12 once. I counted 11 a few times. I counted 10 a few times. I never got to 8. So it's in that 10 to 11 mark.
Yeah, I counted 9 once, and then multiple 10, once 11. I never got a 12.
And this is all based on if all teams are healthy. Like, God forbid someone gets hurt. Maybe they'll catch the Eagles slacking, or they'll catch, the Chargers.
The Bucs could catch the Ravens lacking.
Yeah, 100%. And it's on the road.
That's a tough game. I'm not saying the Bucs deserve to be favored or anything, but I'm not just gonna pencil in a win for Baltimore for the game.
The bad teams that they play, no disrespect, but like the Giants, the Broncos, the Commanders, the Raiders, they need to blow them out. Like they
win.
They need to blow them out.
Last year they were blowing those teams.
Yeah, and they need to again.
They're gonna be good. Last year they were pretty damn great.
So that was just my first point why I do like the over, because of the change from 11.5 to 10.5, and also Lamar's coming off an MVP season. Great call again on you. I mean, hopefully you hit it again on the MVP, but you hit it last season. He's coming off another MVP season. Through the air, through rushing, the Lamar Jackson in that offense was 4th in offensive yards per play, 5.9 yards per play that offense was averaging. Since 2019, Elvis, the Ravens are 52-18 in the regular season when Lamar starts. 4-9 in the 13 games he doesn't. You know what the factor is? It's Lamar at quarterback. I mean, he needs to play. And obviously they got an upgrade with Derrick Henry, and he wasn't the same running back, obviously, he was in the front end of his career. He had a down year, I guess, quote unquote down year, with kind of a bad line in Tennessee, and he still put up great numbers. Now imagine this offensive line, what he's going to do. I mean, even at this stage in his career, I do think this Derrick Henry is an upgrade for this offense. He's going to make teams stack the box, and that's what the Ravens never were able to do with their running game. They never had a guy that made defenses stack the box, and that works in their favor, in their offense, because Lamar Jackson, he finished 1st in EPA per dropbacks and 4th in yards per attempt with 9.1 against 7-man boxes. So when Derrick Henry's in the game, 9 out of 10 times there's going to be 7 guys in the box. They love that. That sets up the play action for Zay Flowers. That sets it up for Mark Andrews over the middle. I think Derrick Henry is going to be the ultimate decoy. I love it. For all that, with Lamar Jackson, I just think they have too much talent on that offense. We know how good defense with Roquan. They have Kyle Hamilton as well. I'm going to go over. I think they're too good of a team. They're too well coached. They're always prepared. That's one thing you could always say with the Ravens. They're always prepared. They're always disciplined as well. You never see tacky fouls, offsides like the Jets. They were so ill prepared last season. They didn't come to games prepared. You don't see that with the Ravens. They don't get penalized a lot. So great coach, great quarterback, great offense, great defense. I gotta go over, kid. I gotta go over. I think they make the playoffs. Do you think they make the playoffs even though you don't got them winning the division?
Yeah. I got them in the playoffs still. I just feel like just off the schedules, like let's not take health into factor. Just off looking at both strength of schedule, I think Cincinnati's gonna win the division and go over. Like I said, I think Cincinnati could possibly win 12 games just off the schedule. If you tell me Cincinnati has the same schedule as the Baltimore Ravens, then I'll probably pick the Ravens to win the division. Yeah, but just off the strength of schedule alone, I think Cincinnati has the better, easier path. I'm not saying they're the better team. They could lose 2 games to the Ravens this season and still win the division. So
that's fair.
It's just a harder path for the Baltimore Ravens and Lamar Jackson, and it's just an easier path for the Cincinnati Bengals, who we agree we're high on, and we love Joe Burrow. So to me, it just makes more sense just going off strength of schedule that the Cincinnati most likely will end up with more wins than the Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah, and that's fair. 100%. I could see that as well. And I think you could also see that if it wouldn't shock you, and you even said it, the Ravens win 11, 12 games and go over this win total. Let's go to Lamar Jackson, because I think he's the most obviously interesting. And there's the most you could talk about him. His passing yards, his rushing yards. He's a dual threat. But can he be 2-time MVP? He's already a 2-time MVP. Can he go back to back? Plus 1,500. He's the 5th best odds. Elvis, you called it last season. You already picked your MVP, but can he make it competitive again?
He'll be in a conversation, but to be honest, it's going to be tough for Lamar to be as good as he was last season. I just don't see the Baltimore Ravens being as good with the schedule they're going to face. And let's not forget, people, they got some key departures on both sides of the ball, especially in that offensive line. I'm not too worried about it, though, but all I'm saying is I think you would even agree the Baltimore Ravens, to start the season, they won't be as good as they were last season, in my opinion. I just feel they lost a few key pieces. Still going to be good. I just don't think they'll be as good as they were last season. So with Lamar, you want me to just get into the props still?
Yeah. I was going to go right into it. So his passing yards is at 3,275.5, minus 112 both ways. His passing touchdowns, will start there as well, 22.5. I mean, as much as I love Lamar, I can't go over his passing yards. I mean, he's never gone over it. He went over it last season one time out of 6 years into the league since 2018. So I'm not going to do that. I I wouldn't even go as over his touchdowns at 22 and a half as either. I mean, his rookie season, he had only 6. His
He didn't
best
start.
year.
He didn't
Yeah,
start.
yeah,
He
that's
didn't
fine. But
start.
even his best year, 2019, that was the only year he went over with 36. 2020, he had 26. Oh, he went over that as well.
He
2000.
went over this the touchdown marks 3 out of the 5 seasons still. And in his MVP season, he had 36. So don't get me wrong, I'm not saying he's gonna go for 30 plus, but to be honest, 22 and a half is a little short and
It's a little
disrespectful.
low.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would go over that instead of the passing yards.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
So my plays for Lamar Jackson, I'm gonna take his over 22 and a half touchdowns. Like I said, he went over this mark 3 out of his 5 seasons. I'm not counting his rookie year. And if he was healthy 2 years ago, he would have easily went over this number. So I could honestly say 4 out of 5 seasons, Lamar goes over 22 and a half touchdowns. That number's, I don't know where they got that number from. It's a little disrespectful. Don't get me wrong. Don't expect him to go for 35 plus. But I think Lamar goes for at least 28 passing touchdowns, maybe even 30. But 22 and a half is just wild disrespectful. And then his passing number, I'm going under his mark. He went under the only year he's went over this mark was last season. Even in his MVP season, which I honestly thought was better than last season, he went under this total. He only had 3,100 passing yards for 36 passing. So I think Lamar will get over his passing touchdowns. I love that one, but to be honest, I just don't see him going over 3,275 passing with addition of Derrick Henry. It just don't make sense. I understand last year you had Odell, you had Mark, you had Zay Flowers, first round pick, you had Bateman, and this man put up those stats. I just don't see him putting up those same numbers with Derrick Henry. Let's not forget J.K. Dobbs. He got hurt first week or 2 of the season. My boy Mitchell, he was lining it up. He ends up getting hurt like week 4 or 5. So the running game was a little hurt. So maybe that's why they relied on Lamar's arm a little bit more last season. I think with Derrick Henry, you got Mitchell backing him up. I think we're going to see the Ravens once again be a run first type of team, rely on the defense, to dominate time of possession, and let Lamar win the game if needed in the fourth quarter, Dale. So I think we see that. We see John Harbaugh run the game by the defense, let that defense do their thing. You dominate time of possession with Derrick Henry. He get in those first rounds, tick, 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 tick. And then when needed, Lamar Jackson bring his homes in the fourth. So give me the under 32, 75 and a half passing, and then give me the over 22 and a half touchdowns passing.
All right, let's go to the rushing because it's very interesting. And you talk about a number being low and disrespectful, and I think the rushing yards is very disrespectful. 725 and a half for Lamar. I know you bring in a guy like Derrick Henry, but I mean, this guy rushes for 1,000. I don't want disrespect, but he's a running back in some plays. I mean, the play calling that that Todd Monken did for the guy from Georgia that they bring in, he has offensive runs. And yes, he's been a more pass heavy guy since Todd Monken has come in, but there are offensive plays where he just tucks it and runs. There are going to be plays for that. I mean, you got to go over. He's gone over this in 5 of the 6 years in the league. I mean, it was his rookie year and he still got 600 yards. I mean, 700 is way disrespectful. His rushing is at 5.5. That one was kind of staying away from. He went over it in about 3. I'm doing the math right now. He doesn't really go over it all that much. He's only gone over it twice out of 6 years. So I actually would lean away. The over is at plus money at plus 112. The under is at minus 142. So I'd take a gander at the under. So go over the rushing yards and I'd go under 5.5 rushing touchdowns. What about you?
I'm gonna go over his rushing as well. You see, I end up saying it's just too low. Think about it, people. I'm just gonna do basic math for you. If Lamar just averages 45 yards a game rushing, he gets 765. Play 17 games. All he needs is 45 to get over this mark, well over this mark. To me, the numbers is just too small. I think Lamar, even if he takes a knee every game, though, he goes over this mark. I understand, Derrick Henry, and maybe he passes a little more coming off the MVP season, but we can't just deny what we've seen these last 5 out of the last season. The kid is gonna put his head down. He's gonna run the ball when needed. If trust me, if you feel pressure from the left side, he's gonna run right. You're gonna probably try to pass first. If nobody's open, guess what? He's gonna hurt you for 10 to 30 yards, possibly 50. So for Lamar just to get around 40 plus yards rushing a game, to me that's a little too easy for him. So give me the over. What was 725.5 rushing?
Yeah. Let's go to Derrick Henry because they did bring him in for a reason. I think he's a much upgrade from what they had. No disrespect to Gus Edwards and JK and all of them, and they were really good, but it's the
They were
future.
hurt. They were hurt.
That and Derrick Henry's a future Hall of Famer. I mean, this guy is ridiculous. His rushing yards is at 925.5, minus 112 both ways. To get that out of the way real quick, over. I mean, he's a 1,000-yard guy regardless. Now you put him in this offense, Todd Monken is going to rush. 6 straight years over. The only 2 years he did it was the first 2 years of his season. And I'll say this, Tennessee, more or less than half the time, they didn't have that good of an offensive line. Now you come to the Ravens who, they're ranked 15th, middle of the pack, 15th offensive line, still good.
Yeah,
I think he's going to have
was top 10. They lost some pieces.
But they lost some guys to the Jets. Shout out the Jets. But I still think 925.5 is still too low. I gotta go over. His touchdowns is at 10.5. Now he's gone over this in 2 straight. 2023 he had 12. And then 2022 he had 13, but 2021 he had 10. 2020 he had 17. That was his best year. He rushed for 2,000 yards. That was his best year. 2019 16 touchdowns. 2018 he had 12 touchdowns. So he's gone over it. Man, maybe take a gander. It's at plus money. Why not? Let me give the over as well.
Yeah, give me over 925.5. This man's went over this mark 6 straight seasons. Now that he has the Lamar as somewhat of a decoy with a better offensive line than he had in Tennessee, he goes over this number easy. 925 is a little disrespect. Understand, you could say he's a tad bit out of his prime. He's on the back end of his career, but this might be the best team he's ever been since college. Let's just be honest, people. So I think Derrick Henry goes over 925.5. And Dale, to be honest, I know you're a little not as confident as I am, but over 10.5 touchdowns at plus 100, to me, it's a great deal.
Yeah.
We seen Gus bust, we seen JK, we seen Mitchell. You know how many chances this guy's gonna get at the goal line? He's gonna get over this. It wouldn't shock me if he goes to 12 to 14 either. So I think 10.5 at plus 100 is a great bargain. So give me Derrick Henry over both of his totals.
All right, I like that. Yeah, and that goal line, you just got to punch it in with Derrick Henry. I mean, you'd be stupid not to. You brought him in for a reason. Let's go to
real quick.
Yeah.
And that's why I didn't touch Lamar Jackson's touchdown rushing prop. Just because you got the tank in Derrick Henry, why are you bringing him in? No cap. If I see a QB sneak at the goal line for the Baltimore Ravens, I'm calling the front office. I'm calling the front office.
Yeah. I just don't want to go to another game because I'm going to go to a few Raven games, obviously. But if I go to another game and they don't run the ball and they go away from their identity, I might lose my shit. I mean, what they did in that AFC Championship game.
If I see one QB sneak with Lamar Jackson, fireball fans. That's all I'm going to say.
Let's go to Mark Andrews. I think a very interesting guy out of Oklahoma, 2018. I thought he was the perfect combo prospect for Lamar Jackson. And they've had a really good connection since he got hurt last season. He only had 45 catches for 544 yards. This season, his receiving yards is at 750.5, minus 112 to the over, or both ways. Receiving touchdowns is at 6.5, minus 124 to the under, minus 102 towards the over. Now, I'll say this. I love the over reception, the receiving yards, because I think he's going to have a bounce back season. I think he's going to stay healthy. And Todd Monken draws up a lot of plays for Mark Andrews. So I think he gets over 750. This is a tight end. Not too long ago, I think it was 2022. I think it was 2021 when Lamar went crazy. Yeah, he went for 1,300 yards. Like this, that's like wide receiver numbers, and he's a tight end. So let's not forget, he's a top 5 tight end when healthy. I love the over. I don't know about the touchdowns. I would stay away from the touchdowns. He doesn't get a lot of touchdowns, but receiving yards, I think he's closer to 800 to 900 yards. So I'm going to take the over there.
Yeah, they'll give me over 750.5. I expect Mark Andrews to bounce back and reclaim a top 5 tight end position in this league. Let's not forget. Don't get me wrong. Isaiah Likely is a stud, and to be honest,
He
he could
is.
be a starter and for a lot of teams in this league. But Mark Andrews, when healthy, top three, top five tight end in this league. Run. He could pass block. He could run block. He could do it all. And let's not forget, he could put up numbers like a wide receiver. He ain't Travis Kelsey, but guess what? He's Mark fucking Andrews. So give me the over 750.5 at minus 112.
Yeah, I like that as well. And then the last guy we have on the Ravens, Zay Flowers. They do have Rashad Bateman. They're still waiting for him to, take that next step, which hopefully for their sake, he can take that next step. His receiving yards is at 875. He's a rookie out of Boston College. I thought he had a really good season, his rookie season, 77 catches for 858 yards, 5 touchdowns. Can he make that next step? He's truly their number one, especially when Mark Andrews is gone. And I think he kind of flourished the second half of the season. I think he can take that next step. I think a healthy Lamar, a healthy offensive line. And like I said, they're going to stack the box with Derrick Henry. So when he's off, they're going to be throwing the ball deep down the field to Zay Flowers. We know how much speed he has. I think they finally hit on a wide receiver in the draft out of Boston College. I like this kid. So 858. I think he could get 20 more yards this upcoming season. So I'm going to take the over. It's at minus 118 for his receiving yards. Can he get one more touchdown? Yeah, plus 110. Why not? I know there's more mouths to feed. I know Lamar will get his. Mark Andrew will get his. Derrick Henry's going to get his. I think Zay Flowers, because we expect this offense to be a high offense. They score a lot of points. I think at plus money, fuck it, I'll take a shot. He scored 5 touchdowns last season. Should have scored 6. Ladarius Sneed, what a fucking play. Yeah, I'm going to take the over on both. I think Zay Flowers has a big sophomore year.
Yeah, I'll take his over 875.5 receiving at minus 118. I also lean his over touchdowns, but I'm a little more confident on the receiving yards just because Derrick Henry, Dill. Like I said, if the kid gets it anywhere near the 10-yard line, Derrick Henry's going to most likely punch it in, Dill. But if you tell me Zay Flowers is going to get a couple long balls, 20, 30 plus your touchdown receptions, he'll possibly most likely go over that mark. It's just we know this team is a run-first team, so I say Zay Flowers and Mark Andrews definitely both go over. They definitely going to be number 1 and number 2 passing options. And Bateman, we'll see what he turns out, but I think Zay Flowers easily. He might even get 1,000 yards, to be honest. So give me Zay Flowers over his receiving yards prop.
All right, let's fucking go. I love it. We could talk all day about football. Ravens, and I think that's why we kind of took a while here with the Ravens and Bengals. A lot of talked about good teams, a lot of players in the markets as well, and there's some money to be made. Since doing our 3-a-days or 2-a-days, I think Elvis and I have both been profitable the last 2 seasons on all of our future markets. So I know I'm not a big future guy, but getting some of these numbers that you're not going to get a few months into the season, I mean, you could take advantage of some of these where we think some of these numbers are really low for players. So we're going to continue them. Next episode, we'll finish the AFC North with the Browns and the Steelers. I cannot wait to hear your takes on Russell Wilson. I've been waiting for that all summer. Let's go to baseball. Like I said, 15-game slate on the diamond. I was telling Elvis before we went live, I mean, I really like this slate. I don't know if that's a good thing or bad thing, but we will see. I mean, the first game of the night, give me a fucking play. Why not? Toronto Blue Jays and the Baltimore Orioles. Right now, it is Chris Bassett and Corbin Burns going. Orioles, big favorites at home. Over-under is at 8.5. I like the under, man. Corbin Burns and Chris Bassett, really good so far this season. Been playing a lot of unders recently as well. So I think with both of these pitchers, I think we're going to see a pitching duel tomorrow, actually. So a little high total for 2 good pitchers. I'm going to go under 8.5 as my first play, kid. What do you got?
My first play of the day, Dill. I'm not filling the board as heavy as you are, Dill, but I got some plays. First play, 6:40 start. New York Yankees taking on the Philadelphia Phillies. It's going to be a great series, by the way. Garrett Cole is on the mound. I think Aaron Nola's on the mound for the Phillies. Over-under sitting at 9. Give me the Philadelphia Phillies on the money line at home. Aaron Nola, to me, he's just been pitching a little better than Garrett Cole's been since he's returned. Don't get me wrong, Aaron Judge, we can't deny how great he's been playing as of late. I think he's, hit a home run against us. I think he hit another home run today as well. He's just been a beast. But this Phillies team right now is just a little better than the New York Yankees, in my opinion. And I give them the edge at home. Give me the Phillies minus 122 on the money line.
Yeah, I like the Phillies as well. I got them at early minus 117. I still like it. I know the Yankees, they've won 2 in a row against the Red Sox, Sunday Night Baseball and over Saturday, high scoring game. But I still don't trust them. On the road, I don't trust them. I know Philly hasn't been playing well either, but they've been playing hard teams. I mean, they got a tough schedule against Cleveland, against Minnesota, 2 teams that are going to be in the playoffs. But Aaron Nola coming back home, Philly, one of the best teams. I think at this short price, I like Philly as well for my second play. I'm going to go back to total, and I'm going to take your Boston Red Sox and the Seattle Mariners. You said this, the Yankees, Phillies are a good series. I think the Mariners and Boston Red Sox are a good series. You guys traded for James Paxton over the weekend. He's going to make his start on Tuesday for the Boston Red Sox going up against Luis Castillo. Surprisingly, the Mariners are home. I know they've won 3 in a row, but they were beating up on the White Sox. I mean, I think we could all agree the White Sox, 2 things. They're a double-A organization, and 2, this might be the worst team we've ever seen in our life, kid. Honestly, they're like over 55 games under 500. I mean,
it might be. I got to really sit back and look at it because some of the Kansas City Royal teams when we were young were bad.
Yeah.
So I got to look at like the records, but I can't deny that.
Yeah, they're one of the worst teams.
In the last 5 seasons, I can remember White Sox is definitely the worst team.
But I like James Paxton, man. I know a lot. I think we discussed it a few months ago or a few weeks ago. We were talking about James Paxton. Not a lot of people like him. I know the ERA isn't up there, but 8-2, he's a winner. He was playing for the Dodgers, but Boston Celtics, Boston Red Sox at home, good offense, still a top 5, top 10 offense. They do strike out a lot. That is my worry with the Red Sox. They're very aggressive. I'll give them that, but sometimes a little too aggressive. But I like the under. I think James Paxton, Luis Castillo, 2 really good pitchers. I think it's going to be more of a shootout. So under 9.5, I think the total is a little too high. So another total for me, kid. What else you got?
I do agree on that deal, but my play on the game will be the Boston Red Sox on the money line. Give me the dog of the day. James Paxton making his first start for the Red Sox. We're back at home. Don't get me wrong. We got our asses kicked about the Yankees. I think we bounced back against the Mariners. Don't get me wrong, Mariners been playing much better since about June. You know, they started off the year kind of weak. I kind of fell off on them, but I gotta give respect is due. They have been much better this past month. To be honest, I'm not liking the way we've been playing since the All-Star break deal. I think we bounced back against the Mariners. It's the third series since the All-Star break. I think we go back to our winning ways. I do like the under deal just because our bat's been a little sluggish, and I don't expect the Mariners to put up too many on the road either. So give me the Boston Red Sox dog of the day plus 109 on the money line.
The reason I really like it is because right now, while we're recording, it's the bottom of the 8th, and the Red Sox are up 14-6 against the Mariners. Regression. After all those runs, we're gonna see a low-scoring game, hopefully here on Tuesday. So love that. Yeah, you guys won as well or winning right now. Third or fourth game, I guess. Yeah, fourth game for me. Let's go out to Cincinnati. Reds taking on the Cubs. Who is pitching for that club? I just had it.
It's Jordan Steele and Frankie Montes.
Thank you. Yeah, I knew I saw it. I know I like Justin Steele, but on the road, I do just not trust the Cubs. Offensively, we've said this all season. They're ranked 25 in the league. The best thing they have is their walks. 7th in the league in walks. Outside of that, they can't hit to save their life. I don't trust them. They lost today 7-1 against the Reds. Not the biggest Frankie Montas fan, but at home, he is better. I just think offensively at a dog number like this, when they just won, I think the Reds are a better team. I trust them more offensively. I'm going to take the Reds here at plus 114. That's my dog of the day.
I love it. I love it. My final play of the day will be the Minnesota Twins taking on. They cooled off a little bit, but I'm gonna still say it. The red hot New York Mets, losers of 2 straight, but I wouldn't be too worried about it. Though, to be honest, you gotta look over the past month. They've been one of the best teams in baseball. Gotta give credit when credit's due. Minnesota Twins been heating up as well, but I'm gonna go with the Mets. They'll give me the Mets at home minus 130 on the money line. I'm not really sure what's the pitching matchup as right now. But I'm going to just go with the Mets. I think they bounce back. I'm not sure what the score is tonight. but I think the Mets bounce back. Give me the Mets minus 138.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the Mets as well, but I thought I saw the pitching matchup.
Yeah, I
Right
don't
now,
see it. Yeah, I
it
don't see
doesn't
it.
matter anymore because you mentioned the 2-game losing streak. We're up 13-1 against them right now, the Twins. So bats woke up, baby. Yeah, the Mets are going to throw out. I just saw it.
And we
Jesus.
lean in the under 8.5 tomorrow, people. You just heard the score. So we're gonna
Sean,
lean the under eight
yeah,
and a half. Mets are
yeah,
one of the worst scoring teams at home. One of
at
the
home.
best or the best on the road, but at
Mhm.
home they struggle a little bit. They gave you 14, 15 tonight. Tomorrow I'm gonna say they're gonna put up 3. Honestly, now I'm a little worried about the money line, but I'm gonna say they win 4-2 tomorrow.
No, I'm not worried. That Sean Mania going for the Mets. Tough game for him last time against a rookie and Dave Fiesta. Verona kid, actually. Dave Fiesta's over here from I think
Verona?
Essex County. Yeah,
Oh,
Verona.
shout out, up 3,
Yeah.
baby.
Shout out him. But I'm gonna take the Mets as well. I got them a little earlier in the day, minus 132. It's at minus 132 still. So I like them. I think they bounce back. I think offensively they're just a better team. Love our boy Dave from Verona, but it's a tough task, and the Mets just scored another run, 15-1 right now. So they're rolling right now.
Under. That's another Fisher play. Give me the under 8.5 though.
Going regression, right?
Regression.
2 last plays for me. Another not home, but it's another dog. Between the Angels and Rockies. Cal Quantrill going for the Rockies. Angels, Griffin Canning, minus 126. Why the fuck are the Angels favorite? I mean, I guess they're better than the Rockies, but I think they're kind of the same team. I think offensively, the Rockies are honestly better. I mean, they're not that bad. I mean, they're 14th in batting average, 14th in on base percentage. They're middle of the pack compared to the Angels, where they're 25th in on base, 24th in batting average. They play better at home. And I know we want to fade Rockies away from home. I get it. We love to do it. But they've been playing hard teams. They played they played the Red Sox, and they played a 4-game series on the road in San Francisco. That's a tough place to play. But Cal Quantrill's been legit. He hasn't been all that bad. I think they do have the pitching matchup. So I got plus 114. Oh, no, I got plus 121. It's at plus 114 now. I still think it's value with the Rockies. So I'm going to take a shot here with the dog, the Rockies. And then my last play, I'm going to take the Dodgers here. They're on the road taking on the San Diego Padres. Matt Waldron going for the Padres. Tyler Glasnow is coming back pitching for the Dodgers. I'm going to take it short price, minus 138. It's at minus 142 right now, but I still think it's the Dodgers. I know they haven't been playing all that well, but you know, they had a tough series. They lost 2 of 3 from the Astros. Astros playing well at home right now, but I'm going to take them. I'm not a fan of Matt Waldron, so I'm going to take the Dodgers here, minus 138. And that's my 7 plays, kid. South Sudan, we're taking plus 30.5. Anything else? And I'm trying to find if I'm missing anything. I mean,
women USA basketball team destroyed China today.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
fucking yeah.
I'm going to see what's the spread for the next game. I haven't checked it, but I can't really put it on my action. We'll see. But it ain't really much though. You know, I'm definitely be tuning into the Olympics. I'm gonna be honest, it's too much to watch. And you know, the time zone got me fucked up. All I've been tuning is the men's basketball.
Yeah,
I'm gonna try to tune into other things, you know, but it's tough.
Real quick, I know we'll record Thursday around halftime of the Hall of Fame game, but Hall of Fame game is Thursday at 8 p.m. Right now, Chicago is 1.5-point favorites over the Texans. We don't know who's really going to play. Probably guys trying to make the team. Over under is at 32.5. Give me the Bears minus 1.5, baby. The Bears. I'm starting early on them, kid. Minus 1.5. Yeah, big all in on the Hall of Fame game.
I'm not touching the Hall of Fame.
Gonna watch it though.
Maybe the first.
It's football's back.
First 3 possessions. So I could wait. I could wait another one.
All right. Anything else before we get up out of here, kid?
No, that's all. Go Team USA. Get them golds up, man.
Yeah, should be a
standard.
Yeah, should be a good game.
4 countries are ahead of us on the gold. 1 or 2, I understand. 4 or 5 countries, step it up, USA.
Make sure to watch that game Wednesday afternoon against South Sudan. Should be a very good one.
I'll miss 11:30.
All right, that's going to do it for this edition of the Dream Wager. On behalf of Elvis, our sponsor, Viva Tequila, myself, make sure you guys follow along our social media, Twitter and Instagram at the Dream Wager. If you miss an episode, no worries. You guys can find us on wherever you get your podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher. If you guys want to watch us, we go live on YouTube as well. We're going to get back to our 3 days towards the end of the month. But make sure you guys hit that like button, subscribe, rate, give us a review. Leave in the comments who you like for the AFC North. We'll discuss the Steelers and the Browns next episode. But all that good stuff really helps the show grow tremendously. So be a friend, tell a friend. Everyone have a great few days, and we will see you guys on Friday. Peace.